Hello and welcome to Unit 3, Chapter 7, Lesson 1, Measurement. Today we're going to start out by some conversions between different units of length, weight, and capacity. So our first one we're going to do together is converting 18 inches to feet. So we're going to start out by writing 18 inches over 1. And then think about how many inches are actually in a foot. And there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So we're going to multiply by a fraction. We want the inches to cancel out, so we're left with only feet. So the 12 inches is going to go on the bottom, and the 1 foot is going to go on the top. Then as we get ready to multiply, we want to notice that there are inches on the top here and on the bottom here. So those are going to cancel out. And then we're going to multiply straight across. 18 times 1 is 18. 1 times 12 is 12. And then we're going to do top divided by bottom. And that's going to change this to 3/2, 1.5, or 1.5. And then that's feet for our label. You can share your answer in any format unless the problem asks you to share it in a certain way. The next one is going to be converting 3.5 tons to pounds. And what we want to know is that there are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. If you have trouble with the conversions, look in the e-text. There are lots of tables of different conversion factors. You can also find lots of them on the internet. If these are things that you don't already know, you will need to know them for the test. So make sure that you are studying up, making flashcards, whatever you need to get them memorized. So again, 3.5 tons, I'm going to go ahead and write that as a decimal over 1. And then we want the tons to cancel. So the 1 ton goes on the bottom and the 2,000 pounds goes on top. LBS for pounds. And then again, we want to notice that our units are going to be canceling out. Tons on top, tons on bottom. And then we're going to multiply straight across. 3.5 times 2,000 is 7,000 over 1, or just 7,000 pounds. Again, we'll always multiply straight across as we're doing these problems. All right, let's keep going. And now we're going to look at capacity. With capacity, we're going to be changing 42 cups into quarts. So again, start by writing 42 cups over 1. Then we want to think about what we know. Well, I know that there are 2 cups in 1 pint. And I know that there are 2 pints in 1 quart. So I'm going to do 2 conversions for this one. Again, I want the cups to cancel out. So 2 cups on the bottom, 1 pint on top. And then I want my ultimate answer to be quarts. So I want the pints to cancel out. So 2 pints on the bottom, 1 quart on top. Again, pay attention to where I'm placing the values. They are so that the things we do not want will cancel out. Again, we notice cups are on top, cups are on bottom. That means they cancel. Pints are on top, pints are on bottom. So that means they cancel. So I'm left with my label of quarts that I want. And I'm going to multiply straight across. 42 times 1 times 1 is 42. 1 times 2 times 2 is 4. And then we're going to have quarts. Again, top divided by bottom allows us to simplify. Again, you can do this as a decimal or a fraction, I'm going to go ahead and do a decimal this time. 10.5 quarts. Again, each of the ones that I'm sharing with you are ones you're going to need to know for the test. So make sure that you are doing something to study them and be able to remember them. For the next one, we're going to be converting between units of length in the metric system. So there's lots of ways to do this. I'm not sure which way you might have seen before, but this is the one I'm going to show you today. So this is the order that the units are in the metric system. So I'm going to start with a unit of just meters because this problem is meters and millimeters. We're going to convert 0.38 meters into millimeters. So I'm going to use meters as my example. So these are capital DM, capital HM, capital KM, kilometers, hectometers, and decameter. These D's is the little d, little cm, little mm, decimeter, centimeter, millimeter. And when I was first teaching this, I always taught a silly sentence to help remember what each of them are. On this left side, the way I remember the order is that kings rule over humans, and humans rule over dragons. Again, the letters K, H, and D are what we want to take from that. On the right, dogs chase cats who chase mice. Again, whatever you need to do to memorize it, I'm just sharing ways that I have used in the past. So then the way that we work the problem is we take what we are given and put it in that same spot. So 0.38 meters. So that's going to go here because that's where meters is at. I want it to be where millimeters are. So I count if this is where I start, how many places do I have to move it to get to what I want? There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So we're going to move it 3 decimal places to the right. So the decimal point is here. So 1, 2, 3. Now the decimal point is here, and I have to put in a 0 for a placeholder. So 0.38 meters is equivalent to 380 millimeters. Again, we can move the decimal point left or right, and we can start anywhere. So again, this one we started with meters, and then we moved it to get to millimeters. So in the center here, I have some common units of mass for metric. Kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. Hectogram is equal to 100 grams. Decagram, 10 grams. 1 gram is equal to 1 gram. Decigram is equal to 0.1 grams. Centigram, and so forth. So I'm going to set up my problem. Kings over humans over dragons. There's my units. Dogs chase cats who chase mice. So in this one, we have 4.23 grams to milligrams. So grams is going to be my units. And I have 4.23 grams. And I need to get to milligrams. So again, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 places to the right. So I move my decimal point, 1, 2, 3, decimal points here, 0 placeholder. So 4.23 grams equals 4,230 milligrams. And if we were moving from grams to, say, hectograms, then we would move it 1, 2 places to the left. So I'm going to write, what if we had 4.23 grams and we wanted to move it to hectograms? Then I would move the decimal point from here, 1, 2 to the left. So 1, 2, put in my 0 placeholder. There's my new decimal point. So 4.23 grams would be equal to 0.0423 hectograms. This is just reminding us that we can go either direction. Okay. Again, as we're looking at mass, we can also look at capacity in the metric system. So the ones I have listed here are to deal with liters. So a kiloliter is 1,000 liters, a hectoliter, 100 liters, a deciliter, 10 liters, a liter equals a liter, a deciliter is 0.1 liter, and so forth. Process is the same. We're going to start by setting it up. Kings over humans over dragons, units, dogs, chase cats, chase mice. This one says we're going to change 4 liters, 32 milliliters, 4 liters, 32 milliliters, 2 liters. So I already have 4 liters, and then I'm going to change the 32 milliliters into liters. So for my answer, I'm going to have 4 liters plus whatever we get. And then that's going to be our final answer of how many liters we have. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at the 32 milliliters. So our units are going to be liters. We have 32 milliliters. We've already taken care of the 4 liters. It's right here. And so we're moving from milliliters to liters. So we're going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 places to the left. Now the number 32 doesn't have a decimal point. So remember, we have one hiding. It's right here at the end. So we're going to move it 3 places to the left. So 1, 2, 3. It's there now. And I have to put in a 0 for a placeholder. So my decimal is 0.032. And I'm going to add that to my original 4 liters. So I have 4.032 liters for my final answer. We can also go between the US customary units or English system and metric. I have a few of these listed below. Again, you can find these in your e-text if you want to, or Google. An inch is 2.54 centimeters. A meter, 3.28 feet. These are all approximately. A meter, 1 yard. A mile, 1.61 kilometers or kilometers. An ounce, 28.35 grams. A pound, 454 grams. A kilogram, 2.2 pounds. A liter is equal to 1.06 quarts. A gallon, 3.79 liters. So again, let's do a little conversions between the US customary or English system and metric. The price of gasoline is $3.89 per gallon. We're going to find the cost per liter, and we're going to round to the nearest tenth of a cent. So we're going to start out by putting 3.89 over 1 gallon. Because the dollars is our label for the top, gallons is our label for the bottom. And then we're going to look back to our conversions. And the one we need is 1 gallon equals 3.79 liters. Again, we want to end up with liters in the end, so gallons are what we want to cancel. So I'm going to put the 1 gallon on top and the 3.79 liters on the bottom. And then we look to see what we can cancel out. And hopefully you notice gallons on the bottom, gallons on the top. And that means our final answer will be in liters. Again, we're going to multiply top times 1. So 3.89 times 1 is 3.89. 1 times 3.79 is 3.79. And then do our top divided by bottom. And I got 1.02638. It continues 5224. We want to round to the nearest tenth of a cent. So tenths would be right here. So I look to the number after to see if I'm going to round up. And I don't need to round up because 2 is not 5 or higher. So 1.00 would be the correct rounding to tenths place. And that is $1 per liter. Or if I were rounding to hundredths place, then I would look here and look to the one after, and I would have $1.03 per liter. Again, this is just a what if, because we're going to round to different amounts throughout this lesson. Okay. Let's go ahead and do a metric to US customary or English and go the opposite way. So this one says, let's convert 200 meters to feet. So again, 200 meters over 1. And then our conversion with meters and feet that we know is 1 meter equals 3.28 feet. Again, we want feet for our answer, and therefore we want to go ahead and put the 1 meter on the bottom and the 3.28 feet up on top. And then hopefully you notice that our meters are going to cancel, and therefore our answer is going to be in feet. And we're going to do top times top, bottom times bottom. Well, 200 times 3.28 is 656. 1 times 1 is just 1. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave this in this position. All right, the last one we're going to do is going to be converting metric to customary. We're going to take 900, oops, sorry, 90, wrong number, 90 kilometers per hour. And we're going to convert it to miles per hour and round to the nearest hundredth. So again, let's take 90 kilometers over 1 hour times our conversion with miles and kilometers. A mile is approximately 1.61 kilometers. Okay, we want our answer to be in miles. So I want the kilometers to cancel out. So I'm going to put this 1.61 kilometers on the bottom, 1 mile on top. And then hopefully you notice that our kilometers cancel. And we're going to multiply straight across 90 over 1.61. And we have miles per hour. So we have miles on top, hours on bottom. And then we're going to do top divided by bottom. And we get 55.900621112. And we want to round it to the nearest hundredth. We're going to look to see if we're going to round it up or leave it. It's not 5 or higher. So 5 or 55.90 miles per hour. Go ahead and take a look at your first homework assignment for this unit and make sure that if you have the conversions in your textbook or printed off so you can use them as you do the assignment. Thank you and have a great night.